Hey, I'm Kathleen Jasper, and I highly recommend that you use ChatGPT as an educator. It is an amazing tool. And today I was playing around with it just from a new teacher mindset to see what it gave me. And it came up with some really good things. And I want to share them with you today. Let's get started. So I use ChatGPT a lot, and I am using it for all different types of things. I'm constantly exploring this tool. But today I went in sort of as a new teacher and prompted it to help me out with a few things as if I were just brand new in the classroom, because I do believe this tool will help everybody, but especially new teachers. So I want to share my screen with you in just a second and show you exactly kind of my process and how I played around with this. I highly recommend you use this tool. Just go to chatgpt.ai, or you can Google ChatGPT and it will come up. There's a free version, which is what I use to do this exploration. And there's also a paid version, which I also have. I have the paid version because I use it for all different types of things, but you can just use the free. It's so awesome. The free version is wonderful. So let's hop over to my presentation so I can just show you how I was messing around with this today and what it gave me and how amazing it is. All right, so as you can see here, there's this little message bot down here where I'm typing in right now. That's where you ask ChatGPT a question. Typically, I write my prompts in like a Google Doc or a Word document so I can put them in paragraphs and make it nice, because I usually feed ChatGPT a really long prompt. But I just wanted to play around with this like I was brand new to this tool, and I want to just see what it will help me do as a teacher. And so I put in here, what type of short video should I do for teachers who are preparing for over the summer for the next school year? Notice I even misspelled should, and it didn't matter. Okay. And then it gave me some generic kind of stuff that's not really going to help me. It says classroom setup, lesson planning, how to plan and engage, relevant lessons. I have some videos on this already, but I was like, okay, this is cool. Let me just keep going here. So I asked it another thing. Well, what ways can ChatGPT help new educators? And it said, yes, you should create a short video on that. And then it gave me, the title, the introduction. It'll even script everything for you. So you can even say, I need to do a lesson on XYZ. It'll give you this whole thing, right? So it said here, it gave me all this stuff, lesson planning ideas, classroom management. Some of us struggle in that. And then it had this differentiated instruction here. And I looked down here, it said, use prompts like, how can I differentiate a math lesson on fractions for students with different learning abilities? Now, this is something that every teacher needs to do, whether it's math, social studies, health, whatever you're teaching. You could use this prompt here and see what it does. So I just grabbed this and I hit copy, and then I threw it into the chat bot down here. And when I did, let me just scroll down. Here it is. How can I differentiate a math lesson on fractions for students with different learning abilities? I might say a 5th grade math lesson or a 3rd grade math lesson or whatever it is. This is fractions, so it's probably going to be pretty basic. And then look what it gave me. It gave me everything I can do. Pre-assessment, conduct a pre-assessment, tiered assessments, create a tiered assessment. Here's a beginning level, simple fraction identification, shading parts of a whole. I mean, this is awesome. Then it gives you intermediate level. Tiered assignments are where you have students doing different things at different levels based on the standard. So this is doing great. Advanced level, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing fractions. All right. Then it goes into flexible grouping. These are all things we should be doing as a teacher. Group students flexibly based on their readiness level. Visual aids. It gives me all this stuff here, real world applications and all of that. Right. Then it gives me a lesson plan. It gives me this whole lesson plan here to help me with this. Now, would I use it exactly the way it was? Maybe not, but it at least gets me started on stuff, especially if I'm a brand new teacher. Now, let's say I like this real world application. Connect fractions to real world context to make learning more relevant and engaging. For instance, cooking recipes. All right, you know what? I'm going to take that. I'm just going to copy that. ChatGPT came up with that. And I'm going to say, can you create an assignment where, and then I'm going to, where students, and then I hit connect fractions to real world contexts, for instance, using cookie recipes. And I might say, please generate 10 questions for this activity. Also include answer explanations for me as the teacher so I can guide my students. All right, let's just see what it gives me. I'm just creating things here. All right, here's an assignment. Fractions in cooking. So we get a recipe here. Didn't have to come up with that. If you want to make half of the recipe, how much flour would you need? Okay, so it goes up here. You have 2.5 cups of flour. They would have to convert that. And then it gives the explanation how to do it. If you want to double the recipe, if you want to make 1/3 of the recipe, notice it's getting progressively more difficult. If you want to make 1/2, look at all this. I could then just copy and paste this into a Google Doc or into my Google Classroom. This is 10 questions where they're practicing this skill, halving it, quartering it, doubling it, whatever you want to do. And it's giving me all this insight here. This is fantastic. This would be a great way to meet the standards for fractions. This is just one way of doing it. Now, the other thing I did was from a writing perspective. Okay. So I was an English teacher and I love RAFT writing strategies. And RAFT stands for role, audience, format, topic. It's a writing strategy where the student takes on a role and the student is aware of the audience. There's a format, like whether it's a persuasive essay or a expository essay or whatever, and then the topic. And you kind of give students, a choice of what to write to, but it's within these parameters. And making up rafts is so time consuming because you have to come up with all these creative ideas. So I said, let me see if ChatGPT will do this. So I say, please generate me a raft writing strategy for 6th grade science. All right. So we need to be writing in science. Please include 3 different writing prompts because I want the kids to have choice. I don't want just one. So students can choose one of the 3. And then I say this, remember RAFT stands for role, audience, format, topic, because I want to make sure that the chatbot knows what I'm talking about here. But it did. Look what it did here. RAFT writing strategy for 6th grade science. Here it is. Role, scientist, audience, middle school students, format, informational article, topic, the water cycle. And then it gives me the prompt. Now, if I wanted to make it even more, I say 6th grade science, I could say 6th grade science on properties of water, 6th grade science on, if I want to keep it within a specific parameter, maybe we're doing a unit on cells or something like that. You could make it even more specific here, but this is just an example. Look here, role, environmental activists, audience, local community, format, persuasive letter, topic, reducing plastic pollution. And then it generated me a whole writing prompt on this based on this raft here. I do highlight RAFT in my book, Teach, a Survival Guide for New Educators. So I'll talk about that at the end. But this is amazing. I usually used to have to make up rafts on my own. And then it goes through. Look at this role. I love this one. Role, alien explorer, audience, fellow aliens, format, field report. Topic, Earth's biodiversity. This is a cool one. Probably a lot of the kids would pick this. Pretend you're an alien explorer who has visited Earth and observed its diverse ecosystems. Write a field report to your fellow aliens describing the variety of life forms you have encountered and the different habitats they live in. Highlight the significance of biodiversity and interdependence of species within ecosystems. Look what it did here too. It made sure that it included this very specific thing about the science standards. I could have even put up here in the prompt, please align these to this standard. And I could have copied and pasted the standard in there and it would have worked. And notice then it gave me a little bit more detailed stuff here. And then I said, okay, this is cool. And then it gave me the instructions. I could just copy and paste this and put it on my whiteboard. This would be perfect. Now I said, okay, this is cool, but I don't like the format. I want it to be in more of a chart so I could have it on a paper and it was more visually, better. And so I said, can you put these in a chart for me so the role and the prompts are together? Look what it did. It said, certainly, here you go. Took it 2 seconds. Role, scientist, audience, middle school students, format, informational article, topic, the water cycle, prompt. I could post this on my board and say, all right, guys, we're doing raft today. Here are your rafts. There's 3 of them. Choose one, only one. You can be any one of these. You can be a scientist. You can be an environmental activist. You can be an alien explorer. But make sure whichever person you are, you choose that entire role. So if you are a scientist, you're writing this full row here. If you're an environmental activist, you're doing this. You can't jump around. It's got to be within the same vein here. So choose one. This is our writing assignment today. And of course, if the students are schooled in raft, they would know what to do. You would have to practice this. Obviously, you can't just give them the raft and say, okay, here's your writing assignment. You would have to go through this, do explicit instruction and say, okay, we're going to introduce the raft writing strategy and talk about it. But let's say your kids are schooled on it. They love raft. They use it all the time. Boom. You just got this whole thing here. It took me 2 seconds and it came up with this. Now I can focus on teaching rather than trying to rack my brain to come up with these on my own. Such an amazing tool. So 2 ways in which I was messing around with today. The first one was just, how can I differentiate math lessons? I could have even put in here a specific, standard, and it would have spit out a little more specificity for me here. And then I said, okay, this is cool. How about give me an actual assignment? All right, here it is. And it looks great here. And then let's just try this. Let's just try one more thing. Please tier this assignment for, for beginning, intermediate, and advanced. Let's see what it does. I always say please, because I feel like it does better when I say please. Okay. It's got fractions and cooking, beginning level. Here it is. It gives me all the questions and it's going to generate. And then it's going to get, okay, intermediate level. It's going to give you some intermediate. And you might have to change this up. If you're a math teacher, you might be like, well, I want it to be a little harder for the intermediate level. You could say, could you make the intermediate level a little bit more complex? Advanced level. 1.5 times the recipe. That's hard to do. Gosh, I would need to use my calculator for that, right? So look at what it's doing here. And it's giving you the answer explanations and all of that. So you could take this, put it on your board, obviously take out the answer explanation because that's for you as the teacher. And you could use this to help your math students. The sky is the limit with this tool. All right, so those are just a couple ways of exploring ChatGPT. Just go to Google and put in ChatGPT, chat, C-H-A-T, and then GPT. I'll have a link in the description below. And just go and mess around. I used it to write resumes. I've used it to write lesson plans. I've used it to write scripts for my videos. I've used it to generate writing prompts. I mean, all of these things that we usually spend so much time doing, now we can use AI to help us save some time so we can focus on things that need to be human, right? That stuff can be done for the computer. Then I can focus on being human in front of my students and guiding them in the raft activity. I just find this to be so important. Now, for the naysayers out there, I totally understand this can be kind of a scary thing, but I want to remind you that when the calculator came out, people thought it was cheating. And when Google came out, people thought it was cheating. And now it is a part of our lives. It's like part of our just everything that we do. We Google it, we Wikipedia it. People thought Wikipedia was a terrible thing. Now it's one of the go-to references and is an authority in the space. So I recommend just playing around with it before you poo-poo it. Get on there, see how it can help you, especially for new teachers. And I was referencing my book, Teach a Survival Guide for New Educators. This is a short book. And it just goes through some of the things that you may have to do as a brand new educator. And I kind of break them up here. A lot of people like this book. I wrote it last year. And you could use this to help guide you with your ChatGPT prompts. I outline raft in here. I outline classroom management strategies, all of that. But you know what? ChatGPT can help you with all of that too. So look it up. Check it out. There's a link in the description below. I'll link up this book as well. It's available on Amazon. And if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free. You can get it for free. You can get the physical copy, which I like because I like to sticky note things, but you can also get it on your Kindle. And if you're part of Kindle Unlimited, it's $0. So definitely check it out. I hope this video helped you today. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, and it will be our pleasure to help. I wish you luck in the classroom. Have a great day.